about to start getting into this thing, I wanted to give a closer look at kind of how it is before starting and some of the reasons as to why I'm doing the things that I'm about to be showing here. First and foremost, big ol' coolant leak. I know that the radiator is nice to have in the back for heat or whatever people say, but it's just issues. I've never liked rear-mounted radiators. We messed with them a long time ago in the mud trucks, and they're always problematic. These headers take up all of the real estate in here. Every inch of hood space is covered up by these, so I'm going to make something smaller and sleeker that allow this thing easier to be worked on, because that's the nature of these things. You're always working on them. And then lots of other stuff is just kind of, left untied and loosened up. So I'm going to go through this whole thing and check it all out. The headers not even bolted down. That one's tight, but it's also missing the extensions that are supposed to be here that bolt the radiator in, grill. So the thing's it's floating there. You can see the thing moving. It's not even bolted in, so I want to get that back up. That'll give me a little more hood height for my air cleaner and stuff. The frame's already all twisted and stuff, you can see. This is supposed to be straight like this, and see that angle on it, so it's already tweaked up, and I'm gonna make something better than this. Big rot holes and stuff, so I'm gonna beefing this thing up and get going. So I'll be showing you the work that I'm doing next. Projects like these are always fun because they're full of surprises. I go to open the tailgate so I can get to the bolts to take this rear radiator out, and it's welded to the body. And I'm breaking the body. That's alright though, because I got the tool for that. Easy work. I got the tailgate open. Kind of got some of this stuff straightened out. Not that that's a huge deal. The rear radiator is out, and I started working on towards building my headers, and got these cut out of the way for the time being, because I'm gonna have to order up flanges to make my own set. I was gonna modify these flanges or whatever, but I'm just gonna build my own set of headers. But always check your projects over. We got lots of loose spark plug wires here. This one fell off. You can see down here the plug itself is not tight, so this thing sounded as nice and healthy as it was. This is just the first side. The other side had the same thing, so this thing was only running on maybe like 6 cylinders. So I can't wait to hear it running on all 8. See that the front of this thing is just floating free. The headers were keeping this from coming up, so I got those out so that I can pick this up and get it where it needs to be. But I'm gonna pull the grill out and beef up the frame because of the issues that I'd shown before. And the other reason I wanted to show you why I don't like the rear radiators is, aside from all the extra plumbing, trying to get out the air pockets and all that stuff, you run this nasty pipe. Look at there's only a little bit of coolant in this, but look at how rusty and nasty looking this stuff is. I don't like that stuff, so get it on out of there. I decided to mount the grill shelf for the track Jeep before pulling it off so I can get it back into know the height and know the location of everything before I put it back in. Sitting on the frame, so that one being a military M38 Jeep, it's got different mounting brackets because from the factory they were designed to fold forward the grill, but I think that one's got a different grill shell on it. They're supposed to have a bracket like this because this is my stock M38, but seeing as how that thing's not original, I'm just here to get a measurement, 1.5 inches. And I'll get the other one set up to that. Works out good. Sometimes when you're building these things, you need an extra set of hands, and there isn't an extra set of hands around, so you got to improvise. Today I got lucky and I found this nice little stick friend of mine to perfectly hold the grill shell up at the height that I need, the location, everything's set how we want. Got it about 1.5 inches. And I'll build some simple brackets. We're not concerned about originality here, so I'll get those set up so that we can start pulling it apart and getting into like the nitty-gritty of fixing the important stuff. All right, so I got these temporary kind of grill brackets on here. You can see, not too bad for an old washed-up welder like myself. Next thing, you can see the bumpers off, and you can really see some of the damage that this frame has taken from having this hydraulic steering setup on here. So I'm going to go ahead and start beefing up the frame. This thing's all pushed back. Everything's all crooked and out of square and stuff. But there's nothing I can really do, so I'm just going to kind of roll with it. I'm going to cut these off here so that this piece can't twist out. See it there? Cut it straight up, and get this little piece on. That's going to be my new end. I'm going to weld that right in place to hold the end of the frame rail straight, because that's like the most effective thing. So cut that off, and we'll get that welded on there. Well, I got my little bumper end on. All welded up in there. Should be pretty strong. After I plate it, I'm gonna end up putting like a flat piece across the whole thing, so that there can be no sort of wiggle. But this thing's really just had a lot of damage. You can see this cracked and broken welds all over the place here. I'm gonna end up cutting this entire thing out and moving it to gain some clearance for the belts, the radiator that I'm gonna put in, that kind of stuff. And I've also just been kind of picking around at other things on this, fixing up some of the damage, just trying to make things a little bit stronger and better. I welded this thing back on because I noticed that the body mount is tore through in the back here, so got that fixed. I'm about to cut that out, get that bolted back in so it's all attached. Just do the little things. Just keeping looking around and trying to get everything squared away so that if I'm out in the woods with this thing, I don't run into any issues, But back to this project. I built this out of 2x3 square tubing, and after having looked at it for the night, I think I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to put a piece of 2x4 in there, and I'm going to put the outside plates are going to go back further to this like thicker part of the frame, and I'll carry it out 4 inches all the way straight across. So I'll just cut that off. But that's going to be after I get back from a trip that I'm taking. I'm going to California tomorrow to fly back. I'm flying out and getting a truck and delivering it back. So that's kind of going to slow the progress on this for a few days, but I've still been picking away, just doing little things. Obviously that's kind of at a hold up now, but I got a second throttle return spring on there because the throttle was sticking because the fulcrum height on this pedal is super high up, so it was getting bound up. I put my bolt back through. Nice. And the last thing that I was able to do, this is probably a temporary setup because I really want to put the gas tank underneath, like down in this area, but that requires cutting out these bars and stuff. And I'm trying to get this thing going for this winter. It's December in Massachusetts, and it's going to be snowing soon. So you can see how much mud. I already washed this thing, but look at this. This thing was seriously mud bogged for many years. It's a really cool truck to have. Again, this is kind of a temporary thing, but it had a boat tank in here before. So I got that out, and I slapped this cell in here from another project of mine. Got it hooked back up. At least it's bolted in, and I'm gonna put a seat in the back because I have another one. So you can have your buddies ride in the back in case you get stuck in the snow. They can help you shovel. So that's it for this here work. But I'm going to do a little flex test on it, and because I've been wanting to see that, and I know you all want to see a little bit of action. So I'm going to show you that, and I'll so what it looks like with the front end lifted back up, the different bumper and stuff, and mostly the same, but just kind of spiffing things up a little bit. So let's get onto that flex test, and that'll wrap up this episode. Not bad, but that's not nearly the action that I'm looking to provide you with. But considering the fact that I have no steering and no brakes and no radiator, that's really all that I can do. So as soon as I get back from my trip, I'm going to be going hard at this thing to get it ready for this winter to give a real thrash down video. I'm going to be doing a custom headers from scratch, reworking the front of the frame, redoing the steering with an orbital steering valve, and probably moving the ram, disc brake setup for the transfer case. So we have a lot to do. I'm sorry for saying so much, but geez, do you know how hard it is to talk without swearing? I've been a welder for 15 years. This is a whole new ball game. So I'm gonna keep trying to keep it clean and provide the entertainment. If you keep watching, I'll keep it going.